Hey guys, welcome to the Work Toward Wonder podcast. Today I have Anna Westphal with us, and I am so excited for this, so let's get into it. Anna, to start every podcast, I ask my guests, what does wonder mean to you? So what does wonder mean to you, Anna?
So when I hear the word wonder, I immediately think of a child and like how they're always just wanting to explore and how they're curious about everything. And so when I think of wonder, I think about just the curiosity of the world, curiosity of God and just everything he does in our lives.
Yes, I love that. I love how you mentioned child, because the Bible calls us to have like childlike faith. And so just
hmm
living in that wonder as a child, oh, I love that. That's so good. All right, guys, today Anna is going to kind of walk us through her testimony a little bit. So, Anna, do you want to, first of all, tell us a little bit about yourself and then go ahead and start sharing your testimony?
Okay, so I'm Anna. I am from Iowa. I actually did youth group with Gracyn, and then I moved to Kansas City for college. I just graduated with a psychology degree, or it's a bachelor's actually, and and then I have a twin sister, and yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready to go now that I'm graduated. I'm ready for all the stuff God has for me.
Yes, that's super exciting. Just a little side note, guys. So, Anna said she had a twin. I cannot tell you how long it took me to figure out which one was Anna and which one was Trisha. And then sometimes I think it was funny and they would like introduce themselves as
Oh
the
yes.
other. And so now I can tell them apart, but it literally took forever to know
Yeah,
which one
we're
was which.
identical.
Yes. But yeah, so I did. I met Anna and we served together in Iowa for 3 years. We did worship together, and that was a really exciting,
Oh, that was
super
fun.
exciting time. Yes. So, Anna, go ahead and tell us a little bit more about your story. You did mention moving to Kansas City, but do you want to kind of talk about that?
Yeah, so what actually brought me to Kansas City was the youth group that we were at in Iowa. Um, I met a lot of really great people that started a church down here. So they had moved away from Iowa to start the church down here in Kansas City. And I just really felt like I needed to be here with them and just serve down here with them. So as soon as I got the chance, it was kind of like a God thing because I was doing the Awanas program. I don't know if you've heard of the Awanas program,
Mm-hmm.
but they have like different scholarships at various colleges. And there was one right in the middle of Kansas City, close to where they were at. So I was like, I might as well go there. It's definitely a God thing. And so ever since then, I came down here and have been here ever since, serving and helping grow the church.
Yeah, that's super awesome. I love how like God uses those little things to kind of get you where you need to be. So
Oh,
that's super
yes.
exciting. So now that you are in Kansas City, what are you kind of doing? How is the Lord working in your life? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So when I can definitely tell difference from when I first was in Iowa till now that I've been in Kansas City. I really didn't know myself, I guess you could say, in Iowa. I was kind of living out of fear in Iowa, but I didn't realize it necessarily because my family's a little crazy, okay? And so I just lived to please them basically. I was living to please others, and it really affected my life in more ways than I could really tell until I started going to college and I started taking psychology classes. That let me tell you, that blew my mind learning about the mind. I was like, oh my goodness. I went exactly through all those things. That's so crazy. And so these last 4 years, I've really just learned about myself more, which helped me to realize how how God can use me more. Like, I realized I was selfish a lot. I do not like to spend my money. I do not like to spend it on myself, let alone people. But now that I've grown more in Christ. It's definitely been a way like I always want to take someone out just to build that relationship, even if it costs money. And this summer, actually, I'm spending like $5,000 to go on a couple different mission trips and to go to youth camp.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so I've started worrying less also. It's been a long journey too because um I've gone through a lot of anxiety and depression and just a lot of anxious thoughts. And ever since going to a Christian college, my school um, is based on the Bible and Christianity. And so we have like chapel services and worship, and our classes are a lot based on God, like how God created the mind and stuff like that. And so it's been really life changing to me to just truly grow my heart for ministry, to grow myself as a person, and just to be able to help people.
Yes, I love that. For you guys who don't know Anna, when she lived in Iowa, if I would have asked her to do something like this, she would have said no.
Oh yeah.
So if that tells you anything, like the way that God is just moving, working in their heart. And I do want to go back and talk about how you kind of started to find yourself and who God was. So when you lived in Iowa, like you knew who you were, but I could kind of say that like you didn't know who Anna was in God. And
Yeah.
what he is able to do through you. Can you kind of talk about like that realization, like when you realize that if I live in what God has for me, how that changes your perspective on one, how you live, how you talk to others, and how you share the gospel?
Yeah, so my my identity was solely focused even just recently, like this last year has been so life changing for me. Just um my identity was always found in what I could do and what I could do for others, and just all the accomplishments I could achieve, getting that 4.0, getting um all region in basketball or softball. And but I had a lot of disappointments too. Like I thought I would be, oh yeah, I'd get to play the whole time in my softball career and stuff. I recently just joined actually 2 years ago because I needed more girls. And then finding out that I've had 4 concussions this last year has definitely changed my view, because my identity was solely found in just being a player and getting those accomplishments. But when I couldn't play anymore, when I had to sit on the sidelines, I had to find a different way to show who I was. And it was detrimental. Like I would cry like every day and stuff. Like it sounds crazy, but you're competitive like me. Like you want to play,
Yes.
you want to be the best. And so finding those ways like to help my team, like I would always get the water jugs for them and just do the behind the things behind the scene kind of things. And I think that's kind of where God has called us, or called me to go, at least. Like he says in his Bible, in his word, that the first will be last and the last will be first, and that we're called to serve others and not be served. And so I've definitely been humbled in that way, serving others and living a life for him through serving.
Yes, I love that. I feel like in church today we just talked about how to serve the church, but I feel like a lot of times when we think about Christianity, we still have the mindset of like, what can I do? What can I do to earn God's hand? What can I
Mm-hmm.
do? And all this stuff. But the truth is, like, live a life to serve others. It's not about you. Like
Mm-hmm.
when Jesus walked the earth, his mission was to serve others. He put his self aside, he put everything aside, and truly did just walk in a way to serve others. And I love how you said when you hit rock bottom, you realize like my identity is not in anything that I can do. My identity is only in the Father. And the way to honor the Father is to serve others. In the Bible, it says that people will know you're a disciple by the way that you love others. And I just have to like think about, especially like me today, when your life is super busy and you're only worried about succeeding. It's super easy to be like, it's all about me, and like, and I stopped worrying and stopped loving others. But the truth is, like, it's not about you. It's about the way that you love others. How many people can you bring to the feet of Jesus? How can you serve others? And how can you love on people? And that's super important. When you finally shift that perspective, God's like, hey, I have great things for you. And
Yes.
so when you start serving others, then God is going to start serving you. So I love how you just like, you talked about how when you finally decide, like, I'm going to serve, then God really starts to shift your heart. Anna, what kind of ways do you find yourself serving others, like in your day-to-day life?
So in my day-to-day life, I just first of all, I just love going to church and serving. And now that I've been out of college, like it's probably been this last month or two, I've finally figured out like kind of the route I want to go in life. And like if you would have asked me in high school what I wanted to go to school for, I would have been like, I don't know, like I like God. And so, but these last couple months, God has really put it on my heart to kind of start several ministries. One is I love mission trips. I love to speak Spanish. I'm not that great at it yet, but I've definitely like before I got on the phone with or on the podcast with you, I was definitely watching Spanish videos because I'm just my goal is to become an interpreter and be able to like connect people on mission trips or just around the world with each other because language is important. Communication is so important and it's hard when we can't communicate with each other. So I just want to bring people together through that. And also, this will be a surprise to you. Um, lately I've been writing music,
Oh my
writing
gosh.
songs, and like every time I hear a worship song or whatever, I'm just like, I want to write a song right now. And so I've written several, and I'm trying to find somebody to help me like make the music part, the instruments and whatnot, do the tech stuff because I'm not good at that. But that is eventually my goal. I think about it almost 24/7, and so I know that these are things that God wants me to do because they're for him. They're something good for him. They're leading people to him. So yeah.
That is so awesome. Well, I'm so excited for you. That definitely shocks me, but that is so cool. I do want to tell you guys a story. So, when we
Okay.
lived in Iowa, so Anna talked about speaking Spanish, and so she would tell us these things in Spanish, and no one would have any idea what she's saying, but we would just like go along with it. But I love how God is using that because language is a barrier that
Hmm.
helps us not be able to reach people. And I absolutely love that. I knew you like loved speaking Spanish, but now that you're totally pursuing that, like that's so
Yeah.
amazing. Um, Speaking of mission trips, do you want to tell us a little bit about the mission trip that you went on? I think it was last summer. But that I saw all your like pictures and stuff, and that was so cool. I hope to go on a mission trip one day. But do you want to tell us
You
kind of?
should.
I'm going to. I'm going to eventually when I graduate. That's the plan. But
Yep, that's
uh,
what I did.
yeah, can you tell us a little bit about what it like looks like to go on a mission trip? Kind of the things that the Lord did in your heart while you're there, how you were able to serve. Just kind of tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So I've been on 3 mission trips the last 3 years. The first one, I really didn't know what to expect, to be honest. I paid for it myself. And then I got there and I was just like, wow, this is something I want to do the rest of my life. So then the next year came around, and this one is even more impactful for me because I actually got to do a little bit of leadership through it, and I just got to be out of my comfort zone. I'm like a totally different person on mission trips than I am here. And I remember the last night we were in Guatemala, surrounded by volcanoes and mountains, and we were on a rooftop. And we were worshiping God um, by this fire. And I just remember looking around and be like, I want to do this the rest of my life. And like I was in tears, and Pastor Justin, our missions pastor, he asked if anybody wanted to be saved, which was kind of an odd thing because like we all went on a mission trip. We should all have been saved already, but I was like, I don't think I've actually been saved, so I think I want to do this. So I rose my hand that night, and then um a couple months later, or actually the next month, I got baptized at our church, and so it's just been incredible ever since. And now I went on the mission trip last year, and I was solely like focused on the leadership position and interpreting. I do a lot of interpreting, I guess you could say, not like perfect interpreting, but that's my favorite thing to do, just to interpret and just speak about God to everyone in the country. Like it's insane. So I'm so excited. I'm actually going on two mission trips this year. Um, one to Costa Rica next week, actually, in
Wow,
a
that's
week,
awesome.
and then in I'm going to Honduras in July. And part of ministry is a lot of fundraising. It's
Mm-hmm.
a it's taken a lot of fundraising, a lot of which has just definitely brought me out of my comfort zone, because I like to stay in my lane, talk to the people that I know that like the same stuff as me. So I've actually had to speak about what I want to do in the future, and even to strangers I don't know. So it's been awesome.
Yeah, that's so awesome. There's something so special about going around the world and just preaching the gospel, and it's not always just for those people. Like when you say yes to the Lord, He is doing something in your heart too.
Yeah.
Like Anna's like, yeah, I'm going to go on a mission trip, and like the Lord changed her life, and like now this is what she wants to do, and that's just so amazing. Not to let your fear stop you, because I know that like I'm a walking testimony of struggling with fear, and I know Anna is just like um, your fear does not define you, and your fear shouldn't stop you from doing things that the Lord has called you to do. Like take that step out in faith, go do it, go travel across the world, go share the gospel, speak to those people that you don't um, feel like speaking to, and that's when God really does something amazing and cool. Is when you just open up your heart and you're like, hey, God, use me. I'm not going to allow myself to get in the way of that. I'm not going to allow my fear, because fear is the use of the devil. He is the author of fear and the author of confusion. And so when you give into that fear and you don't step out in faith, then God, He can't use you, and you're giving the devil victory. And so we don't want to do that, but just stepping out, whether that be a mission trip, whether that be talking to that one person who is sitting by themselves in the cafeteria or at a restaurant, like whatever, just being that person who steps out in faith, like, God, yes, I'm going to follow what you have for me, and then He's going to do amazing things. Um, I do want to talk a little bit more about serving. So, one of my dad said this morning, and it like rocked my world. He says that you don't have to serve to be a Christian, but if you are a Christian, you need to be serving, and that is so true. Like as a person who loves Jesus, we are called to serve, and whether that be like Anna going on mission trips and doing all this stuff, whether that be serving at your local church, like whatever you do, it's super important to get in to serve. And it's not just serving to serve others, but also when you serve, you're serving yourself as well and serving the church. And God is able to work through like an open heart. And so just opening yourselves up to serving, to doing what God has for you, and really big things will happen. So, and I have one more question. Well, I have a few more, but we'll do one more right now.
You're good.
What would you say to someone who is struggling with stepping out in confidence and stepping out of their comfort zone? What would you say to them to kind of just encourage them, or kind of what helped you just to follow what God has for them?
Um, the first thing I would say is just like take it in, just I feel like I'm finding myself rushing all the time, going at my pace when God's pace is never our pace really. Sometimes it's slower, sometimes it's a lot faster, but taking the time just to breathe, to look at what God's done in your life already, and then just listen, because we do a lot of talking and not enough listening. We wish this, we hope for this, but really we need to be listening for God to tell us where to go. And um, another thing I would say is um, really just to listen to God in a way that isn't selfish, like isn't for our own benefit. We are only listening to like, oh, I want to do this and God tells me to do this, so okay. But if it's something that we don't like, kind of like Jonah and the whale, he ran away from it. We're going to run away from it. And I think that even if we don't like something, it's not for us. It's truly for others. It's truly to glorify God. And we have to remember that when we're serving, that we might not be comfortable speaking. We might not be comfortable being in front of people, but it's truly not for us. And God's going to use it in a way that glorifies him, even if we're not the best speakers, even if we're not the best piano player like myself. um, he's going to use it for his good, whether it's a mess up to us or not. And just really remembering that, that's kind of what took the fear out of it for me. For a long time, they asked me to play the keys at church, and like the first time I was up there, my hands were like literally shaking. And they sometimes they still do, but it gets to the point where like my mind has shut down and I just completely forget what I'm even doing. But when I actually am truly up there to worship the Lord and not to glorify myself, that's when God does amazing stuff. That's when he helps us play the best we ever played, or speak the words that we would have never thought of on our own.
Yes, I love that. When God gives you a plan or gives you a word of what he wants you to do, he is not expecting you to do it on your own. And that's what's so amazing about the Holy Spirit and just having the Lord on your side, is that when he asks you to do something, he doesn't expect you to be able to do it on your own. He expects you to lean into him. And that's why he gives us these big things that we could never possibly do on our own, because he wants us to lean into him. And so if you are struggling with like that fear, I think of the in Moses, when the Lord calls him to go speak to Pharaoh, and he's like, I
Yeah.
can't, like I have a speech impediment. I am not a public speaker. Like, and he's so focused on me. But when he turned his eyes on the Lord and is like, no, Moses, I got you. And then he was able to go speak and do all these crazy things and save thousands of people because he allowed the Lord to work through him. So when you just feel that fear and anxiety on what the Lord's calling you to do, just remember it's not you, it's God. And that's also what's great, is even if it does seem to fail, a lot of times when we serve, we do fail and we do mess up, but then we
Mm-hmm.
can be like, God is still going to use it for my good. Before this, you guys will get a kick out of this. So before I told Anna when I was at church today, yesterday I was working and helping clean the church. And those of you who don't know, my dad just started being the head pastor, and we are 3 weeks into this endeavor, and I had cleaned the church and we had locked up, and we went to church this Sunday morning, and someone comes running over from the youth building where I had just cleaned and was like, guys, there's a giant leak everywhere. And I was like, oh, lovely. I was like, I remember turning the faucet off, because there's like a faucet for the mop. I was like, I remember turning it off. And they were like, there was water everywhere. It hadn't even been 24 hours, but though our youth building had started flooding. So that was great. We ended up getting it all figured out, but that just really, I was really hard on myself. I was like, I can't believe, like, I'm 3 weeks in of being a pastor's kid. I cannot believe I just almost flooded the launch building. And good thing it didn't cause any damage or anything, but it really opened my eyes to into its perspective. Like, it's not about me. Like, I was trying to help serve the Lord, and you're gonna make mistakes. And the best part about it is that the people who helped clean it up, they came to me and were like, "Hey, Gracyn, it's totally fine. Like, it's a mistake. It happens." And so when you are, I feel like a lot of times we are fearful to do things because we're afraid of what other people might think if we mess up. And I am a living testimony. You 100% will mess up when you're
Mm-hmm.
serving. It's the human nature. Like, that's how it is. You 100% will flood a building or say something that you probably didn't mean to say, or stutter on your words, or make a mistake, whatever it is. But the cool thing is that God still uses you, and God still uses that. And people understand. Everyone is human. Everyone makes mistakes. And so just taking that pressure off yourself. It's not about what you look like or what other people think. It's truly you serving the Lord. And I feel like when you start to understand that, it's not about me. It's not about my mistakes. It's not about what I do right or wrong. It's truly about serving God wholeheartedly. Then I feel like that fear goes away because you're not worried about all these things that could happen, but you're truly just doing your best to serve the Lord.
Yeah. What we learned today, actually, we were talking about how God is the only one that does not judge. He will never judge us. So if we're always constantly worrying about what other people are going to think, there's always going to be somebody that's judging us. Even if we make the slightest mistake in the world, we could have done amazing in every other area, but we make the slightest mistake, someone's going to call that out and someone's going to judge us for it. But God, he sees the good in us. He doesn't call out all the bad mistakes we've made. So why would we do that? Like, we're one of his children. My coach, she always says, whenever I talk bad about myself, she's like, don't talk to God's child like that. You're talking to God's child in a way that is sinful, is not like of God. And so it really humbles me. I'm like, you're right. It only matters what God thinks, and he calls me his child. He calls me saved. He calls me loved. And so I have to constantly remind myself of his promises and what he calls me.
Amen. Yes, I love that. And another part of following the Lord wholeheartedly is truly understanding your identity in Him. When you realize who you are in Jesus, that you are loved, that you are a child of God, that you are beautifully and wonderfully made, that you are chosen, that you are His workmanship, then you truly understand how easy it is to walk in His path for you. And when you stop worrying about all of the worldly things, everyone has an opinion. Everyone's going to say something. You could do it
Mm-hmm.
perfectly, and everyone's going to say something because everyone has an opinion. And that's okay. God gives us opinions for a reason, but just the ability for you to know who you are, truly rooted in who God is, and your identity doesn't waver based on how good you do at something. But if your identity is truly in Him, then you are able to serve God 100% and not worrying about what other people think. And I love how you said that the way you talk to yourself matters. In this society, people speak over themselves in ways that you
Mm-hmm.
cannot imagine. The things that they say, that they are depressed, that they are anxious, that they have bad thoughts, that they are unwanted, that they are unloved, that they are not worthy. Like, your words are like, your words matter. The words that you say speak power. The power of life and death is in the tongue. And so what you
Yep.
say about yourself matters. When you look in the mirror every day, are you saying, I am beautiful, I'm wonderfully made, the Lord loves me, I am a child of God? Or are you saying, oh, I need to fix that, or oh, this is ugly, or oh, whatever? Like, what you say about yourself matters because the Lord loves you. You are perfect. You are made in His image. And so you have got to love yourself through the eyes of the Father. And on the flip side, you also have to love others through the eyes of the Father.
Mm-hmm.
You have got to love others. You have got to see the best in them. And you have got to love on people. The best way to bring someone to Jesus is through showing His love. And so, as people who are wanting to serve the Lord in whatever we do, we just have to walk in that love, walking hand in hand with Jesus, taking people to the feet of Jesus, and really showing them what it means to truly love. And when you walk fearless in love and in step with the Father, that is a lethal combination that no one can stop.
Mm-hmm.
And you will do great and mighty things for the kingdom. You will be successful in bringing people to Jesus, but you will also be successful in your daily life because the Lord will give you the things that you need to bring glory to Him. And so that also means that God's going to do good things for you. Like He's going to help Anna get money to go on mission trips, and He's going to help you do these things because He wants to see you succeed in life. And so when you think about it, when you disobey Him, He has a good and perfect plan for you. And so when you don't walk in step with that, then you are not living your best life. And so truly walking with God makes you want to live that best life.
Yes, exactly. And I tell so I also do the offering every other week at youth, and I tell them like God isn't he's not looking for you to give everything. Like he isn't going to ask you to do something that he's not going to provide for. So
That's good.
when we serve and when we give to God, when we trust God, like with all these payments I'm making for my mission trips, like He's not going to call me to go on these if He's not going to provide.
I love that. That's so good. He will provide and meet all your needs. So that's another reason not to fear, because God will provide everything that you need. When I think about this, I was sitting outside one day and I was just looking at the beautiful sunset and like hearing the birds and all these things. And I was just in awe. Like, if God does this for creation, He feeds the birds and makes sure they're taken care of. He clothes the flowers. And how much more does He love me? Like, He loves you. And so I was just sitting outside and I was like, the wonder of the Lord is amazing. And He creates all of this and take cares of all of this, and He loves you so, so much more. And so why worry? Like, He is provider. He will meet all of your needs. And so just another reason not to fear is because God's got it all under control.
Yeah.
So Anna, I'm going to ask you one more question. We talked a lot about today following in the steps in the path of the Lord. So what would you say to someone who wants to hear from the Lord and wants to walk in His steps, but is just a little hesitant based on like whatever is happening in life? But how do you fully surrender your whole life to God?
Uh it's hard to fully surrender. Like even at times for me, I still like am like, is He gonna provide? Am I really gonna be able to make something out of the songs that He's put on my heart, or be able to reach people through Spanish? And I think it's really based on how much of a relationship I have with God, because like with you and me, we have a good relationship, we have a good friendship, and I can trust you with things. And because we know each other, we talk to each other, we've experienced what each other have gone through. And
Mm-hmm.
so, in the same way with God, we can't trust Him unless we have a relationship with Him. We can't. So that
That's
means
good.
reading our word, that means praying to Him frequently, that means serving, like we've talked about, just truly like going all in with a relationship with God can help us become less hesitant and more confident in what God's going to do rather than what we can do ourselves.
Yes, I love that. It starts with the relationship. If you want to see God move and want to do something for God and feel like He's calling you, you have got to make sure that you have a steady, constant relationship with Him. It's not a Sunday faith, it's not a Wednesday night faith, but there's a song about SCU and it's called Monday Morning Faith. Like, I'm going to wake up every day and be like this. I choose to follow Jesus, and everything I do is going to be a reflection of who God is. And when you truly know God, then it makes it so much easier to just walk out in faith when you understand that He has the best in mind for you. And so when you just walk in step with God, then He is going to lead you. He's not going to lead you somewhere that you cannot handle. He's not going to lead you somewhere that is not good for you. He has a perfect plan and a perfect step for you. And so just following Him in that, it really does give you peace. Because if I'm being completely honest, there's moments in my life where I have lived not according and walking in God's will, and there's times when I have. And let me tell you, the times that I have walked with God are 1000% more blessed and more peaceful and more successful than any time that I tried to do it on my own. And so, to the people who are hesitant to walk in what God has for them, even though it may seem harder or may seem more difficult, in the end, it is 100%
Yep.
better because He is going to provide and do things for you that you could never do on your own. So there's really is no reason to worry. And I know that's easy on the outside looking in. Like, it's easy to be like, don't worry about it, just do it. But when you're in the middle of it, it can seem so difficult. But I just want to tell you today, like, me and Anna are people who have walked with the Lord, and He's done great and mighty things. So don't be afraid to step out in faith. Don't be afraid to serve. Don't be afraid to love on others. Don't be afraid to do what God has asked you to do. Think about what the Lord has told you last and go do it. And then God is going to show up in amazing, exceedingly abundant ways that you could never think or imagine. Just don't be hesitant. Don't second guess. Just step out and do what the Lord has for you.
Yes,
So
that's so
that was
cool.
so good. Yes, I absolutely love that. Guys, we are going to end the podcast. So to end every podcast, Anna, I ask some fun questions to end it off. So the first one, people find this one to be the most difficult, but can you tell me your favorite worship song? I know there's like a million of them, but if you could pick one,
Uh,
what is one Christian song that you absolutely love?
man. So that my artists, Elevation Worship and Brandon Lake, for real, like every time I
Yes,
hear them, they just inspire me all the
100%.
time.
Yes.
But honestly, if I had to pick one, I'm gonna go with probably gratitude because it just this world can be so negative, and that just helps us to that reminds us that there's something to be grateful for.
Yes, that is such a good song. And just to live your life in a place from gratitude, and you can really see what the Lord has done. And oh my gosh, I love that song. For those of you guys who don't know, we have a Spotify playlist that we put all of our guests' favorite worship songs on. So that is in the bio. So definitely go check that out. We'll be adding gratitude to the list. Next question, Anna. This is just a fun one. What is your favorite and go to ice cream flavor?
Oh, I love ice cream. There's so many ice cream places down here. Like I am going on an ice cream tour with my friends this summer,
Oh my gosh,
and
that's so fun.
yeah, either something with chocolate like hot fudge or coffee. Those are my two.
Yes, I love that coffee ice cream. I don't eat it a ton, but when I do, it's always so good.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. And then last question, Anna, what is a unique fact about you? I know we've talked a lot about you and all the amazing things that you're doing, but if you could have just one unique fact, what is one that you would share?
Ooh. Uh, Probably that I am super competitive. Like the only people I know that reach my level of competitiveness is my twin and you, Gracyn, because let me tell you, we when we start losing or if someone bends the rule or something, we are getting on them because we want to win so bad.
Yes. I don't know. You guys have never met Camp Anna or Camp Gracyn, but if you put us on the same team, then it might end up in a fight just
Yeah,
because
it's gonna
like
be
our
dangerous.
yes our competitiveness and Anna, you're a group leader sometimes, aren't you? Right?
Yep, I've been the past 3 or 4 years I've went.
Yes. She definitely is super competitive, and I love that. I truly believe that competitiveness is a gift that God has given us, and it's nothing to be ashamed of, nothing to be wrong, but just being able to keep that reeled in sometimes is kind of hard. But me and Anna on the same team, you're not gonna win.
Yeah.
For sure. Well, guys, thank you so much for watching today. I absolutely love this conversation, talking about just how to step out of your comfort zone, doing what God has for you, serving the Lord wholeheartedly, and loving others. Like, nothing is better than that, and just walking in what God has for you. If you haven't, check out our season 1 playlist with all of our episodes. I absolutely love what the Lord is doing through the guests that are here on the podcast, and I would love for you guys to check it out. Um, like and subscribe. It means the world to me, guys, if you would do that and just kind of get this out there, because I know the Lord has a big plan for Work Toward Wonder, and just doing that would be awesome. And then comment below, guys, what is your favorite thing to do just to honor the Lord? Like, whether that be singing on Sundays, going on missions trips, but every day, where do you find yourself enjoying and loving to honor the Lord? And we will definitely respond to those. I'd love to see how you guys serve the Lord differently. And thank you again, guys, for watching. And we will see you next Wednesday. Bye, guys.
Bye.